Did anybody tag me to do the book recommendation tag? Absolutely not. Nobody asked for this, but you know what? I'm putting it out there. And maybe someone will like my recommendations. Who knows? Also, I am not at work today because last night I had a fever. So I'm not feeling great, but I would like to do something. So recording a video could be fun, and yeah, that's how I got here. Anyways, I'm doing the book recommendation tag. I don't know if you've seen other people do it, but there's a list of questions that they did, and I did most of them. It won't be in the same exact order that other people did, but it'll still be most of the same questions, and then I added in a little bonus. But let me know what you've been reading. Do you agree with the things I said? Do you not? Who knows? Let me know in the comments, and let me begin. The first one I'm doing is a book from a genre I don't typically read, and this is gonna be I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I love this book. It is one of the first autobiographies I read. Everybody loved this book. Love the cover. Love what she wrote about. Growing up with her, watching her on iCarly, it was really crazy to read what she had been through, and it just proves that you just don't know what's going on in people's lives. So to be envious of fame or whatever it is, you have to be careful because everybody's going through their own thing. And it was really interesting, but I will say that autobiographies helped me sleep. So it did help me sleep some nights to start reading a little bit of this book, but I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. The next one is really tough. It's a book I wish I could read for the first time again. And there are so many I wish I could read for the first time again, but I'll just start with the books that I've read recently that got me back into reading. And one of those is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Such a good book, such good feels, such good summer vibes. And I'm also gonna put Love and Other Words on this, and just these two are very similar, as we know. And I think I read this one first and then I read this one, but both of them just have a special place in my heart. I wish I could reread them for the first time again. But once I take enough time from not reading them, I'm gonna forget it. So you know, my brain's only so big. While I have this book in hand, Love and Other Words was also a book that I read the fastest. I read it in one day. I ate this thing up. I ate it up. And I read it in one day. Loved everything about it. So sweet. Such a good character development in this book. I love when texts are in books too. I just saw that they were messaging each other. And, you know, I only can remember so much of the book, but I remember a lot of it, and it was really just a sweet read, and I love the orange and the paper cover. I'm not a fan of the pink cover, but I'm glad I got a hold of the orange one. This is a book I read recently, and this is the Name a Book That Made You Cry, and this is If He Had Been With Me. This book just, again, the characters I connected with, the high school, what is the word I'm looking for? The high school setting was, you know, really making me reminisce on my high school days and just things you forgot about, like eating lunch outside on the steps and people getting in relationships and fights with friendships and falling out and then finding out all these things about that falling out. And anyways, I don't want to give anything away, but also love this cover. The cover looks great, but it did make me cry. I ate this book up too. I read it in just a couple of days, and it really lived up to the hype. I love this book. Okay, I have a few books for this category. It is a book that deserves more hype. So, of course, this is, you know, to each their own. Not everybody's gonna agree. One of these books, I'm surprised that I'm so obsessed with it, but it is Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. I love the characters in this book. I love the way the relationship grew. Everything about it. It just felt like a movie I was watching. It felt very Lifetime-esque, and I love a Lifetime movie, so I really, really enjoyed this book. I thought it was so sweet, and it was very entertaining. I read this really quickly as well. Another book with this category is The Chain. I can't remember what I rated this book. I read it a long time ago, but the concept of this was really interesting and one that I haven't seen before. It's about your child being kidnapped, and then to be able to get your child back, you have to continue the chain. So you have to kidnap another child and continue that chain, and it's how Actually, I don't want to give anything away, but yeah, you're just continuing the chain of kidnapping a child to get your child back. So it was a really crazy read. It's one of the first books I read when I started reading again, which was like a couple years ago. Wasn't reading consistently then. I'm more consistent now, but this one was, I remember it being pretty good. Another one that I enjoyed that reminds me of The Silent Patient is An Anonymous Girl. It was about a girl who joined an experiment, and it was about ethics and morality and the psychology behind that. And she's being monitored and manipulated by the person who is testing her. I guess it's a psychologist. I can't really quite remember, but she really got herself intertwined in this study with Dr. Shields, and it got crazy. I recommend this book. Oh, this is gonna get me in trouble. A book that people loved that you didn't. Now, I picked 3 books for this category, and there are more that I could choose because I am a sucker for booktube, book talk. I will read any book that they put on there. And I have realized that, you know, everybody has different book tastes, so you're not gonna love the book that everyone is hyping up. And anyways, the first one I'm a little nervous to say is The Love Hypothesis. I really did not like this book. I really did not like it. She was a grown woman who acted as if she was 12 years old. She's supposed to be intelligent, a strong woman. She's in the STEM field and she's being a trailblazer. But the way she's acting as if she's 12. The way he is described is very simple, plain. He has dark hair. He has strong muscles. He is a man. Has no personality. And I just really hate the way that she was depicted. And that's just my opinion, you know. Whatever you think is cool with me. Another book that I am worried about saying that I didn't love. I won't say I hated it, but it did not live up to the hype that it was, you know, lived up to the hype that people were saying, and that's Verity by Colleen Hoover. I know, I think I'm about to get beat up for this one, but I did a video on this one about the new edition with the extra chapter, so if you didn't get to read the extra chapter, I went over that with drawings and everything about what happened in that chapter, and some of the things that happened just didn't make sense, and it was just, I don't even know how to describe without giving things away, but it just didn't add up. The beginning was so strong of somebody's head being blown up, but then by the end it was just confusing as to why certain things are happening, or why would you allow that to happen. Anyways, this is one of my books that I didn't think lived up to the hype. And the last one is one that Haley Pham has raved about. And I read this and I was bored. I almost didn't finish it, and it's better than the movies. I know, matches my hat and everything, but I did not enjoy this book. It's YA, so it makes sense that it was very PG, but also it was just, I just didn't like it. That's just all there is. I just didn't like it. Okay. Look at my dog in the background. Mara Jade, work it, girl. This is a book I wished I could live in, and it's The Cruel Prince. I mean, such a cool world. If I was in this world, though, I would not want to be a human. I would want to be a fairy, and if you know, you know, because I don't want to be beat up and tested my entire life. But such a cool world. Would be so interesting to see all the different types of species that are new, and you flying around on horses, and you know, who wouldn't want to do that? So this is a book I would want to live in as a fairy, not a human. A book I recommend. The first one is one that I don't have on hand because I let a friend borrow it and she never gave it back. So, you know, it happens. It's a book by Alice Feeney. I discovered her at the beginning of my reading journey, and I'm so happy that she's blown up lately because she really deserves it. Her writing is so unique, so capturing, and it's just, she doesn't take the easy route. She really thinks it out. And the book that I would recommend to people if they want a mystery is I Know Who You Really Are. I'll put it right here. I may have messed up the title. I hope not. But I would recommend that. And then I would recommend any Alice Feeney book. Oop, I Post-it. I would recommend any of her books. I mean, she's just such an interesting writer if you like mysteries. If you don't like mysteries, then I would recommend any of the other books I talked about. I mean, you can't go wrong with Love in Other Words. I mean, it's a good romance. So I would recommend this to people. I get a little nervous because it's something that happened at the end, if people would want to read that or not. But also I would recommend Every Summer After as a romance book. Anything I talked about, besides the ones that I said didn't live up to the hype, I would recommend. Here's a book that I thought I'd hate, but I loved. I didn't think I would hate it, but I had very low expectations for it. It was a book that I enjoyed the cover, so I bought it from Book of the Month. And this is The Lifestyle. It ended up being one of my favorite books that I read last year. I gave it 5 stars, and it's supposed to be about a girl who joins the lifestyle of swinging, and she's in a relationship, but now they're allowed to date other people and swing. Really, that was not the focus of the book, and I can understand why people wouldn't like it if they thought that's the focus, and really it's not. It's really about her discovering herself and figuring out who she is and what mistakes or different routes does she take in life that led her to where she is, but it's not really, you know, what she wants. She's just discovering herself, and I really related to that because being 23, a post-grad out of college, it's very confusing, and it was nice to relate to somebody struggling as well. Here's my book that deserves all the hype, and I don't even know how much hype is around it, but I know Haley Pham talked about it, so it must be somewhat popular, and this is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Love this book. Such a good romance. I would recommend this to people too. It was so fun. I don't know what else to say about it. I talked about it in my last video too, of something I held between December through February. And it's about a lady who is dating somebody new and has finally gotten over her deceased husband, but then she finds out that he's not really dead and he comes back into her life. So it's getting crazy. I'm creating a new category, and it is a book I'm looking forward to reading, and this is The Love Wager, and that's because I really loved Mr. Wrong Number, so I'm looking forward to reading The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. These are all of the books from my book tag. I know that there was one that was a book you enjoy that is becoming a movie or a TV show. I think one of Lynn Painter's books is becoming a TV show or movie, so that would be the one I would pick for that. And I'm not sure if I missed anything else. If I did, then maybe I didn't have an answer for that question, but I hope you enjoyed what my recommendations are, and if you have any that you think I would like, comment down below. And you know what? I wasn't tagged to do this video, but I did it. And you know what? That means you can do anything you want to do with your life. I'm getting crazy here, and I want to lay down because I do not feel well and I am ready to sleep. So thank you for watching my video, and bye guys.